Have you ever asked yourself that, like, how can God take my pain or my suffering and repurpose it for something greater, right? I know, like, I've asked myself that a lot of times, and I feel like there's a great story in the Bible that exactly shows how God would take our pain or our struggles or our sobs, and who will purpose it to something greater. And it's the story of Joseph. And it starts in Genesis chapter 50. I don't really have time to break it down because I'm on my lunch. But Joseph's brothers sold him into slavery because of jealousy, right? And after a while, Joseph becomes the second in command in Egypt. And his brothers basically have a reunion with Joseph because of a famine that's happening. But his brothers don't even know that it's Joseph. So when Joseph finally takes off the headdress, he says, "It's me, your brothers. Like, it's me." And his brothers think that Joseph's about to kill them. But then Joseph would say these words: "What you meant for evil, God meant for good." As to say, I wouldn't be here if I didn't go through that pain. So now we see that in this story, that God will not waste our pain or what we're going through, but he's going to repurpose it for something greater. And nobody signs up to go, I want to go through that pain so I can be encouragement to somebody else. But a lot of times that's how it works. And I even give you an example. This is a time in my life when I used to work at a job, and I'm not going to say the title because they're a really good company. And I worked there for about a year and a half. And one day I was late to work, and I started showing up late because a lot of this dirty stuff was happening. And they had fired me. I finished my entire shift. And right before I could clock out and everything, they called me to office and they fired me. I go home, but like, let me just trace back real quick. Because when they fired me, I was sad, but I was actually at peace at the same time. Cause I was like, you know what, I'm about to find something today. I was like, I'm literally just gonna find something today. And I know my parents were upset. They're like, how could they fire you out of that? But I was like, no, like I'm chilling, like I'm good. And I literally just started looking at jobs, and I found this good job, and I applied for it. That exact same day, they called me. They wanted to hire me. That exact same day. So that's even another story of how God has took my pain or my suffering or my problem that I was into, or what they might have meant for evil, and how he turned it to something good, for something greater, because they had better benefits and pay and everything. And there might be even a time in your life that you have seen, you might have felt like Joseph, when you've been sold out, or just you've been wrecked by someone you know, or what somebody has did to you, and God has turned it into something greater. So definitely put that in the comments to be an encouragement to somebody else. But not only does God repurpose our pain for what somebody has done to us, but also from the mistakes that we've made, God can turn it into a message. That from the setbacks we had, God will turn it into a setup. That from the scars that we're ashamed of and embarrassed of, God wants to use it as a sermon to speak into somebody else's life. In the same way, God will use you in those ways to encourage so many people.